Use the force, Luke.
Live long and prosper.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming. You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey, old Kermit the Frog here.
Bow ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 135 of Play on Nerds. As always, I'm Steve. This other guy is
Jarman.
And we are here to co-host the hell out of this as usual. It's been a while since we've had an actual Play on Nerds episode.
Yes, this may be a more rare thing these days, but we figure we come back right here at the new year in 2020 with episode 135.
Right. That's weird.
It is weird saying 2020 and not being Barbara Walters.
That's right. I can't wait for that joke to be over. I'm just done.
It's going to keep happening.
Oh, God. It's going to be a long year.
Did she actually do it, though? Did she say it? Was she on TV somewhere saying, this is Barbara Wawa, and it is 2020?
Yeah, when she was the host of 2020.
But not recently. She's not still doing that.
No, she retired like a decade ago.
I know. She should come out of retirement and actually do that. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, God. Give it up, Baba.
Baba Wawa.
Baba Wawa.
So, what you been up to since we last recorded, Steve?
We had the holidays happen.
We did.
The Christmas holiday. And we did a few days up at Anna's, and then we went all the way out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to see my folks.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's right. And had a good visit there. But while we were there, we were able to reveal some big news to my parents and to the family that I can now announce on the podcast. Anna and I are pregnant with our second kid.
Congratulations. I say, but I already knew. So there you go.
Yes. Jarman is not surprised. It is a boy.
Awesome.
And we're going to name it after my dad. So it's going to be Dale J. Bauman.
Adorable.
And there's a funny little story. So Harry S. Truman, former president, the S doesn't stand for anything.
Really? I didn't know that was true with him too. Wow.
Yeah, and so because of that, there was this moment of Vogue where people didn't give last names; they just gave middle initials, and my parents were part of that Vogue. So my dad is Dale F.
Huh.
And every other brother and sister has a middle initial, but no middle name. So this kid's gonna be Dale J, and the J stands for Jarman.
That's right, folks, and I'm so proud, so proud.
But yeah, Dale J is born as due early July.
And when this kid's older, I'm going to be telling him, be like, look, you know that J stands for Jarman, right? That's my name.
Are you going to be in a strip club while you're giving this speech?
Hey, take the cigar, kid. All right, listen to me. Listen here. Your middle
you were
name.
supposed to take me to school.
No. School's for suckers, okay? I know you have J for your middle initial, but my name is Jarman. Your name
School of Hard Knocks.
It stands for Jarman. Here's the School of Hard Knocks. Listen, take the cigar. Suck the cigar in. Come on, kid. I think your uncles would be proud if I did that.
That's right. So we got to do a fun reveal to my parents on Christmas. Well, our Christmas morning there. So the morning of the 27th. Where we like held back a gift, and in it was a little tiny baby onesie and a picture of the sonogram. It was real cute.
That is cute.
And then we did the gender reveal a few days later at our big Bauman family party by putting it in a Secret Santa gift or a white elephant gift that someone then picked and got to read.
So it was like the whole extended Bauman family.
Yeah, the bulk majority.
Gotcha. That's adorable. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And then we came home and had kind of a peaceful New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, the kid woke up with she yelling that her ears were hurting her. So we had to find a urgent care clinic open New Year's Day morning.
Oh, no.
And got lucky and found one and went in, didn't have to wait too long. And they had prescriptions there, so we didn't have to try to find a pharmacy.
Oh, good.
So an adventurous New Year's Day. But luckily, we're home now.
That is good. Well, it's quite.
So what did you do for the holiday?
Well, I had just the extended family here for in Orlando in Winter Park, Florida, and I had some fun with all the aunts and uncles, and then I went down to see the girlfriend's parents in Safety Harbor, Florida,
Where the heck's that?
It's a nice little town in West Florida, and it's down by the beach. Just really cute, like almost like a movie set kind of town. Something you see in a Hallmark movie. And then we had a New Year's at my house with some friends. Zach, a guy you knew from high school, was over with his fiance, who I'm going to the wedding for very soon. Yep, they were here for New Year's, and we just watched the ball drop on TV and all that jazz, and had a good little nice family and relaxing Christmas and New Year's. Nothing went wrong. There was no family drama. It was just all very nice and relaxing. Couldn't ask for more.
That's really all you can ask for at the holidays.
No drama.
Because there's just no drama.
I gained 4 pounds. It was great.
Minimal drama.
Gained lots of food weight and alcohol weight. It's just all you can ask
for. The only stress should be on your belt.
I agree, and it was, believe me. I think the last time we recorded, I also saw cats. I should mention that to the audience.
Yeah. Is it as bad as everyone says?
No, it really is not as bad as everyone says. When I saw cats performed live in front of me, it was fine. It was interesting. It's odd, but there's a lot of odd in theater when you see live theater. And Steve and I both have theater backgrounds. We've seen a lot of strange theater in our time. And we're like, okay, it's theater. It's fine. And then when you see that in movie form, it's a little more odd. But I think if the main critics who were saying how bad Cats was, the movie, if they had seen the stage play, it wasn't that far off from the weird that the stage play was. So, like, I don't know what they're complaining about. It was fine. It was fucking odd, but it was just, it's cats. So what are you going to expect?
Right.
Yeah.
You went to a movie to see a musical cat.
A musical about cats going to the afterlife. That's the main plot of Cats. It was fine. It was weird. Yeah. So it was Cats. So the fun part is that a friend of me and the girlfriend, they want us to go watch it again for a private screening where they're buying out the whole theater, and we're going to possibly drink beforehand and drink during the film, and that might be even more weird psychedelic experience. So we'll see how that works out, but it might happen.
Well, I hope it's better the second time around.
God. And then Rise of Skywalker. Did you get to watch it? The new Star Wars film?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of it? All right.
Yeah.
The stork's
like some. Yeah.
It was all right. It was fine.
So here's my spoiler-free review of Rise of Skywalker.
I'm still going to play this because I don't get to play it very often.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers.
That happened.
So the first half of the movie was like a C-, and the second half of the movie was a B+.
All right. Fair enough.
There were far too many MacGuffins. Far too many. MacGuffins to find other MacGuffins that led to MacGuffins. It was so hard to watch JJ try to undo the Rian Johnson one.
Yeah. And I thought
it was real tough to watch him have to like unwind that cable.
It's weird watching like directors fight each other over sequential movies. That's very odd. That doesn't happen very often.
No, and I hate that like all this outcry is coming out online of like they should have let Rian do the last one and finish his story. And I'm like, what story? Half of the plot of the last movie was them freeing rabbit horses.
Yeah.
That was half of the last film. You wanted more of that?
I didn't mind Last Jedi, but Last Jedi was like a film that belonged in like a 5-part series. It wasn't like progressing the story enough. You know, like so I agree with that. It was like it was spending too much time doing other things that weren't very important. So I do agree with that to an extent. Yeah.
So I would like to point out that we made predictions about the movie.
Oh,
way back, and I called it. And from a technical point of view, I'm right. And I guess we put in the spoiler tag, so we're good.
Yeah.
But both Kylo and Rey die.
They don't both die.
Yeah, Rey dies, and then Kylo dies, giving her his life. But Rey is dead at one point.
When is she dead? I don't remember that.
After she takes on the Emperor.
Oh, and
she dies. He climbs his way out of a pit.
He gives her some
and
life
then picks
force.
Her up. Yeah, but then he dies. So they both die at the end of the film. She came back, but you know,
right.
who could have called that?
So you're kind of right.
But I'm really happy to be like, yeah, I nailed it.
You kind of nailed it. I'm like,
But I
giving
think that
all the way to you.
symbolically it represented what I predicted, which was the death of both the Sith and the Jedi.
Yeah,
And that
that's
was
true.
like the big end, the
And then
death of both.
And then at the end, she's kind of reborn, and she has like a yellow saber. So it's kind of like, I think that's the talk of that's like the mix of the dark and the light kind of thing. It's
it's a certain cast of Jedi that were specifically like public protectors, kind of,
right,
so to speak.
And have you been watching Mandalorian at all?
Oh my God, Mandalorian!
Did you finish it?
Oh my God, Mandalorian!
All right, hold on.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
All right, so Mandalorian.
if you are somehow listening to this podcast and not watching Mandalorian, then you are a fucking idiot.
Get the Storks to bring it to you if you're not paying for the service.
Disney Plus, totally worth it just for Mandalorian. In fact, they're worried about so many people canceling because it's over now for a year. It is so good. It is the best thing that has happened to Star Wars since the original trilogy.
It's just so well written, and I recently watched the original trilogy, and there are some problems with the original trilogy that people look over in that it's very stilted writing, very dated writing. It's kind of silly at parts. Mandalorian takes that feel though of like this basic storyline and makes it feel more modern and fun and like a Western, but still it's everything at one time. It's wonderful.
And Baby Yoda is the new Mickey Mouse as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, he might as well be.
He can have all my money. I should see him on every piece of merchandise that Disney can pump out.
And the best thing too is that it humanizes the Star Wars universe. It makes these characters believable and yet at the same time archetypal. And it's like there's one scene in the last episode with two stormtroopers talking to each other out in the, and they're saying like, "Are you going back there?" "No, that guy's killing people. I'm not going back there." Like it just seemed like so relatable. And there's a lot of comedians giving cameos in this show. It's really well done.
Really well done. Highly recommend. If you're not watching Mandalorian, you got to check out Mandalorian. It's so good.
And at the end,
it's better than episode 9.
And spoilers, if you haven't seen the last episode, tune out now for like 2 minutes, skip ahead. But he has this saber, I think they call the dark saber at the end.
The dark saber, yeah.
And I looked it up because I didn't know, because I haven't watched Rebels or read any of the books, but apparently that saber was on the Mandalorian planet, Mandalore, and it was the first lightsaber built by Mandalorians, and it's an actual physical sword with saber effects on the end of it. So it's always a sword. You can't like, it won't be reduced down to the hilt like a lightsaber would.
Right.
But then the sack of Mandalore, the Imperials were there, and that's how this guy probably got it. He was there and he sacked Mandalore and he got that saber.
Yeah,
so,
Moff Gideon.
So he's not necessarily like a Sith or something. He just happens to have this sword. But it's still fascinating.
But yeah, Mandalorian episode 9, check them out. They're both pretty good. I mean, Mandalorian's great.
Yes, Mandalorian is.
Between the two of them, they average out to like a B.
Yes.
So check it out.
As long as we're recommending shit, I think on a few episodes past, I talked about how I'd started watching Downton Abbey. It's still fantastic. The girlfriend got me watching that show, and it's wonderful. But also another show I wouldn't have watched probably without the influence of the girlfriend. But Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, great show.
Oh, my wife loves that.
Your wife loves that? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's just
that's her like when I've got game nights show.
Yeah, and it would be that for me too, but I started watching it and it's so funny. I'm laughing out loud. I mean, I do really enjoy Shalhoub, the guy who's on Monk.
Tony Shalhoub. He's great.
He plays the father
in
of that
Galaxy
show.
Quest too.
He's in Galaxy Quest. Yeah, absolutely. He's fantastic. He's hilarious in that show, but everyone's really great in that show. It's just worth a watch.
Another recommend Netflix true crime. Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh,
really good. It's about, and I remember this happening, a guy who started posting videos online of him basically torturing and murdering cats.
Oh my God.
And the internet went insane and spent like 2 years almost tracking this guy, and basically turned over the information to the police saying like, "Hey, this guy's going to murder someone eventually." And the police did nothing. And then he murdered someone,
a person,
like a person, and filmed it and put it online. And then finally got the attention of the authorities.
Wow.
And it's about like the manhunt and the cops playing catch up and asking this group for all their information. Like, it's crazy. But it all started because he messed with cats.
I'm not very good with true crime personally, but a lot of people are in love with it. And I think, yeah, it's not for me. I just can't handle it.
But yeah, so if you are, check out Don't Fuck with Cats. It's a little bit disturbing, but spoilers because you could just read the news. They caught the guy, so there's a silver lining to the whole thing.
That might help some people watch it. That's good.
Right, helps you get through.
Yeah. So I think that brings us some nerdy news, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's time for Nerdy News.
So it's just a bunch of sad news this time
Yeah, and we
around.
kind of missed this over the last, where we would have had shows. We would have announced this, so we're just going to kind of go back. But we've had a death on each side of the aisle.
Yeah, our big
One from the Jim
fandoms.
Henson camp and one from the Star Trek camp.
So what happened in the Muppet camp, my friend?
Caroll Spinney, longtime actor, performer, and character creator. His biggest roles being Big Bird and Oscar, passed away. And he played Big Bird for 50 years, basically.
50 years. That's incredible.
Yeah, and Oscar for 50 years. And I had the benefit of seeing him a few years ago at the pre-debut of the documentary I Am Big Bird.
Mm.
And he brought Oscar with him, and I got to be within, 5 or 10 feet of him and Oscar. And so I'm happy to say I at least got to see him in person.
Where was that at?
That would have been in Brooklyn, at Brooklyn Town Hall, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't even the premiere. It was a pre-premiere. What we saw wasn't the final version of the film that eventually got released. So yeah, Caroll Spinney's dead.
Yeah. And on the Star Trek front,
Star Trek, yeah.
we have from Deep Space Nine, Rene Aberjonois. Also from, I believe it is Little Mermaid. He played the chef who's trying to cook. What's his name? The lobster. What's his name?
Sebastian.
He has that whole song about cooking the lobster, and I can't remember how the song goes. My girlfriend would kill me.
Les poissons, les poissons.
There you go. You have it. But that's Rene Aberjonois, yeah. And he's been in lots of different shows, Benson, lots of different things over the years. He's just a fantastic actor, and he was so good as Odo in Deep Space Nine. And I think I saw him at Dragon Con once before. And that's I was supposed to say about Caroll Spinney as well. As the last 2 years at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Caroll Spinney was there, and I did not get to see him. And I'm so sad that I didn't get to see him before he passed away. But I'm glad you got to see him because you're the bigger Muppets fan. I'm glad you got to see him before he was gone. So there is that.
So yeah, they both lived good long lives. They both had crazy big eventful careers, and we're happy about the legacy they left behind.
I'm still sad like they're both gone in their 70s. Like I wish they could have lived to their 90s or something, but but they still made it. They had great careers, and so
absolutely.
Do we know who's taking over for Big Bird at this point?
Oh, he's had an understudy for years.
Okay, gotcha.
I can't remember the name, but he's had an understudy for
long time,
years and years now. Who's been doing appearances and stuff for him?
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he'll take over.
So that brings us to another update that we're coming to talk to, which is about our new shows, which we've mentioned before. So we're breaking off a little bit from our usual show. We'll occasionally come back with our regular show of A Play on Nerds that you're used to with our updates. It'll be on our regular feed. We might have some nerdy news, some all our old segments. Who knows? But for now, we're breaking off into 3 new shows. Muppet Trek, which will be us talking about the Muppets, the TV show, and Star Trek, the original series. We'll compare and contrast them. We're going to have to go episode by episode. We have done episode 0 so far. What was on that episode, Steve?
That was The Cage and the Muppets Valentine special, one of the 2 pilots. But the theme was that it was episode 0 because they both had pilots that didn't make it.
Right. Both unaired pilots, basically. And so then we'll have Real Opposition, which will be us reviewing terrible films. They've been called terrible, we'll say, because I love movies in general, and I often defend movies that probably shouldn't be defended. So we'll be doing that show where we talk about bad movies. I'll be defending them. Steven will be digging them to the ground, as he probably should be. And then towards the end of the episode, we're going to pitch a sequel to these terrible movies and give a bit of an improvisation of the sequel of those films. So you'll hear a fully produced segment of us talking about that film and the sequel that you'll see sometime in the future in some alternate universe at some point.
Somewhere down the road.
And we still have an interview show, which we're going to talk about later on, but we're still kind of working out the kinks of that to get the details. But an interview show where we talk to other podcasters, YouTubers, creators, and in a very unique way that only Steve and I can provide. We're going to
That's right.
Make them uncomfortable.
No other two white guys could do this.
Well, we are unique in our own white guy way.
It's true.
We're going to figure it out. But the cool thing is that if you're a longtime listener of Play on Nerds, you'll be able to listen to all these shows on our main feed, Play on Nerds, that you subscribe to right now on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you find our podcasts, YouTube. But then we're also going to make separate feeds for Muppet Trek, Real Position, and the interview show later on. So right now, Muppet Trek is in review. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts. It's already on Spotify. You can subscribe to it there on Spotify. So you'll find Muppet Trek, Real Opposition with 2 E's, REEL, Opposition, like the movies. These will all be on separate feeds, but you'll find everything here. If you don't want to subscribe to anything else, you can stay where you are. You'll still hear all these shows on our current feed.
So we're going to bring you a bunch of new stuff. I'm going to say we'll probably end up doing more Muppet Treks than anything, just because they're going to be very straightforward.
Yes.
To bring to you guys on like a regular clip.
That'll be our bread and butter. Yeah. Real Position's a little more produced. It's a little more once in a while thing. And
I
it'll be a lot
love
of
bread.
Fun. I love bread and butter, actually. Both those things.
Ah, man.
And to end this episode, we have some feedback, maybe some final feedback for a while to our regular Play on Nerds episode. And I'm going to play this music loud and proud with no cutoffs. Here it goes.
Oh, God.
Thank you for being a friend.
It's not going to get monetized
Travel
anyway.
down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a
All right. I thought that faded out, actually. I don't know why it doesn't fade out.
It does if you turn the volume down.
That's too much work.
All of our listeners just need to manually fade out the music.
So we had some feedback from our monumental episode announcing this kind of departure from our regular format, and we wanted to give some of that feedback out to you guys. And thank you for giving it. And Steve, do you want to read the first feedback?
Yeah, this one comes from J-Ho.
J-Ho.
It's a question about how to get his wife into nerdy stuff. So thanks for the shout out on your latest podcast. And I think the advice of finding something my wife's already nerdy about and working tangentially from there is really solid. Without intention, I've been doing that already to a small extent. Some successful, some unsuccessful. For board games, Kate loves card games, so I've been dabbling in some fun card-based games like Six Nymphs, The Mind, Seven Wonders, and Fox in the Forest.
Love Seven Wonders.
Mostly good
game.
hits. For TV shows, it's funny you mentioned Battlestar Galactica because my wife does enjoy a good political drama. She sat through the whole show, but hated it. Ha ha.
Oh no.
I think she didn't find any of the characters super redeemable or likable, so she had nothing to really attach to. That I can agree with. Most of the characters fall completely off the edge at some point.
Oh, that's you saying that, Steve.
Yes, that's me saying that.
Okay, I didn't think so.
She is right.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha.
Starbuck turns into an angel or something at some point.
It's weird.
She's not wrong.
I don't know.
She's not wrong. Okay. I think I may go with Star Trek next time because she does like a good nostalgic show.
Nice.
She may even like Deep Space Nine. Either way, I think a more targeted approach to cater to her current likes will be very helpful for the future.
Very true.
And great suggestion for reading Ender's Game. I didn't think about that, but love that idea. Yes, read Ender's Game. Don't see the movie.
Right. Movie's fine.
Anyway,
but book's better.
No, it's not. Don't listen to Jarvis. The movie's not fine.
I love movies.
I think the new show format should be a lot of fun, and I like the variety. I'll let you know if I have any suggested interviews. A buddy of mine in Nashville has put out an a cappella summary of The Legend of Zelda. As appreciators of both music and video games, thought you'd enjoy it. And he provided a link, which we'll provide in the show notes.
Yes, we will.
Till next time, J-Ho.
And we need to watch that video. I have not watched that yet, but we should watch that before I put that out.
I watched it really late at night.
Okay, gotcha. And also, my girlfriend is obsessed with Zelda, so I should make her watch it as well. So that'd be great.
Absolutely.
And her sister.
So thank you,
There
J-Ho.
you go.
Hopefully you can get your nerdy wife even a little nerdier.
Absolutely.
Even a little nerdier.
Absolutely. And so then we have an email from Paul Wright /Furbob, longtime listener, great guy, met him in person, awesome person, fellow podcaster. He makes great produced audio, by the way. You should listen to Rusted Robot podcast. He makes the UK correspondent segments for them now.
Okay.
And basically it's like fully produced news segments with music and sound effects and clips and stuff like that. It's really great. But in the past, he's done great podcasts. He also did like a drama that was set on like a Star Trek Voyager set. It was really good. Anyways, so Paul Wright, Furbob, hi, Stephen Jarman. Just want to drop you a quick note about your ideas for the A Play on Nerds new format. First of all, I was so glad you said you were continuing to podcast. So long as you enjoy doing it, I will enjoy listening to you. Secondly, I love the idea. This new format will give you more time to focus on your chosen subjects that have proven popular over the last few years. I'm looking forward to hearing the new show soon, which I'm sure the Raul Julia estate will give it their full backing. Thanks again for a great show, and I'm looking forward to the new shows. Many thanks, Paul.
Yay. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Furbob.
That's awesome.
All right. So the next one comes from Daniel Hitch. Another super long time listener.
Yes, on Facebook. Thank you, Daniel Hitch.
Love you, Facebook. Exciting changes. It'll be weird to not have the regular show format because, after all, we fear change. And then mentally plug in the GIF from Wayne's World with Garth saying that.
Yes, that was on the Facebook post. It was wonderful.
But the plans ahead sound great. My only issue is, do listeners come under joint custody, or is it an 80-20 split at the holidays? That's hard to say, primarily because I celebrate a lot of holidays that no one celebrates. So I get you guys on Arbor Day.
Oh, yes, Arbor Day. I'll get some of the fans on Arbor Day. You'll get some of them on Earth Day, maybe?
And National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. Yes.
That's important. Yes.
I celebrate privately. Don't judge me.
Oh, Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's a good day, too.
Talk Like a Pirate Day. So yes, we're going to split the holidays, but know that we're going to celebrate a lot of holidays that you don't care about.
Like Boxing Day, which we know what that means now.
Amusingly enough, my cousin's longtime boyfriend, I found out, listens to the show and has been listening to the show. And Boxing Day came up at like something with her friends, and he knew all about it because of our show.
That's funny.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I just used that information." He was so excited.
And not to mention that my mother had been listening to more of the episodes of the show as well. And at our Christmas celebration, my uncle is from Liverpool, and he just still wasn't even aware that I podcast or what even podcasting really is. But she like took the time to explain to my uncle from Liverpool what podcasting was and what I do, so that she could explain that I had people listening from Canada, Sean Vanderloo, and also Paul from Liverpool to send us clips in to talk about what Boxing Day means. And he just loved the story. He was so delighted that we had listeners from those two places talking to us about what Boxing Day was. So we have
a strong international presence.
We do. And thank you for the information about Boxing Day. It's very fascinating. So our last thing is our review on Apple Podcasts from Jordan Holland, J-Ho. He says, this show gets 5 Raul Julias dressed in cosplay outfits gleefully dancing upon 2 near-lifeless Gary Buseys who, with their final breath, exclaim, "I'll see you on the other side, Stephen Jarman." Wait, whose voice would that be in? Oh, 2 Raul Julias. So it'd be like, "I'll see you on the other side, Stephen Jarman.
Now lift your knees, boys."
It's great content, news, trailer reviews, interesting facts, and much, much more. This is a high recommend for any level of nerd, even those non-nerds who are secretly just nerds. Steve and Jarman are phenomenal hosts. Their seamless conversations make you feel right there with them, and they play off each other in a way that shows they've been lifelong friends. You two are great. J-Ho. Thank you, J-Ho. Appreciate the review.
J-Ho.
The 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Can't
I was really hoping that was going to end with 2 stars.
2 stars. They're all right. They're okay.
Can't say enough. Nah.
They're okay.
Thank you, all of our long-term and newer listeners. We appreciate all the feedback, and we're going to roll it all into whatever the heck this next chapter for Play on Nerds is.
Yeah, and if you guys are longtime listeners, just keep on subscribing to this, but you can also subscribe to Muppet Trek and soon real opposition. None of them approved by Apple Podcasts yet, but keep an eye out for that.
We're working on it.
We'll mention it once it happens. But we appreciate you listening, and yeah, thanks so much for being around.
We're coming up on 6 years, I think.
Something like that.
Like in March, maybe?
Yeah, probably, because it was 2014 when we started.
Yeah, right. So we're coming up on 6 years. We'll come up with something good. Something real good. It'll be a very special episode. You won't even know what happened.
Very special, like everything else we've done.
Just every episode's very special here at A Play on Nerd. Well, keep on coming back and listening to us in all these different formats. We'll keep coming back and being your nerdy co-hosts. Thanks again, Internet.
Stay nerdy, my friends.
Thanks for listening to A Play on Nerds. Find all of this content and even more nerdy news, reviews, and fun at www.aplayonnerds.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter so you know the exact second we release new podcasts, articles, and other nerdy content. We know you're impatient. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Podomatic, and whatever the hell else you use. Also, please leave us a rating and review on your chosen podcast platform so we can be discovered by even more nerds like yourself. However you do it, check us out. And how.